What's up guys, Matt from #CashHacks, and today I'm going to show you how to fix the code E90 on an Intex hot tub. The beeping won't stop, it won't go away. If I turn it on and off, it's not going to make a difference. I got to unplug it. I got to reset this. And when you turn it on and try to circulate the water, it's not moving. You get like this humming sound in here, but you can tell that the water is not circulating. And then it cuts off. So this is what we're gonna do. This is all the stuff that came with the hot tub when I first got it. We're gonna need these plugs right here. Should have at least 3 of these. These 2. Actually, there's 3 here. And this one. Unplug it. You don't want to be working on electrical while you're dealing with the water. So first we're going to press this little button right here. Pull this cover off. Put it to the side. So this one marked A is where the air comes through for the bubbles. C is where the filter is on the other side, on the inside, and it pulls in the water so that it can heat up and then come back out through B. So I'm going to reach down in here, unscrew it. So here's the filter. I'm going to take one of these. I'm going to cap it off. And I'm going to cap off the other one. Now the instructions say that you can use a third one on the other filter over there, but that filter doesn't actually function for anything. I don't know why it's there. It just holds the filter in place. So we're not going to use that one. Then we're going to grab these. We're going to start disconnecting the unit. So it's gonna leak a little bit because there's some water still left in the pump, and then this water is coming from where the bubbles come out from. Slide that back. Put this cap on. Cap these off. It will drip a little bit, don't worry about that. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is take the unit somewhere that we can work on it. So these are the tools that you're gonna need. You're gonna need a flathead screwdriver and a Phillips head screwdriver. These pliers right here and some needle nose pliers. And of course, the impeller. The other thing that I use is this long Phillips head. And then I'll show you in a minute why I prefer the long one. What you got in the packaging should be a tool like this. So here on the base, we're going to use this tool to take these screws out. There's 3 of them. We got these 3 out. So then this head comes off. You're going to unscrew this. Pull that plug out. Don't worry about trying to figure out which way it goes in because it only goes in one way. Next, you're going to flip the unit upside down, but notice that it's flat here and it's rounded here. So I'm going to use this lawnmower tire to kind of balance it for me while it's upside down. Okay, so now what we're going to do is unscrew these 3 screws. them up first. Now if you've never done this before, then these screws will be in there pretty tight. But I've done this like 5 or 6 times already, so I didn't put them back in too tight, knowing that I was gonna have to redo this before we came up with the solution that I have today. They are pretty long, so if you're sitting there turning it and it's not coming out, you'll know why. So you can see how long these screws are. I'm just gonna put this to the side for a second. Now you're gonna get the flathead screwdriver and unscrew this clamp. Slide it back a little bit. Again, if you haven't done this before, this is gonna be a little bit tight on here. Now if it is tight, that's where these come in. Real gentle, because you know it's rubber and plastic in here. You can kind of try to loosen it up, you know, like this. Try to grab it and kind of loosen it up. And then you can use these to try to pry it back a little bit until you can get it off. So for me, it's not that difficult to take it off, because last time when I did this, I put some Vaseline around the outside so that, you know, it doesn't get stuck like it was before. See, so that came off. Now over here, you're gonna have to twist it a little bit to get it out. Okay, back to the Phillips head. So now you can turn this upside down, and you'll see you have these screws, and on the other side of the screw is being held in by a nut. Now some of the nuts are glued in place, but not all of them. So you have to be careful that you don't drop any of these, because they are not magnetic. So if you drop it down in there somewhere or in the grass or whatever, you might not be able to pick it up with a magnet, and you know, it's kind of cramped in there. See, so this is one that comes out. So you got to be very careful. I'm going to put it right here in the corner. And actually what I like to do is to screw this back on here so that they don't get lost, and I know that I have the right number of everything, that I'm not missing one. So I put my finger back here and start to loosen it. This one's at a little bit of an angle. Now you see this one, the screw lifts out because the nut is glued in. I think the first time that I did this, every other one was glued in, but after doing this for so many times, there's only one that's still glued in and the rest aren't. So you pull this off, and immediately you see the problem. So this end broke off. On this side you can see it wearing, and that's the problem. That the impeller right here, gotta pull this out, but it's magnetic. There we go. It has the shaft, and it rides on the shaft like this. Now this one, it's old and cracked and it's not balanced anymore, so it wears unevenly, right? So it's going like this while it's spinning, and it's wearing away at the shaft. So the original shaft that it comes with is ceramic, and that's because it has to be non-magnetic, number one, and then number two, the ceramic is gonna wear less and last longer. So this right here is brass. I've replaced it with brass. I bought a length of brass that I've cut like 7 or 8 of these, and that was like the old way of fixing it, because I could not find a replacement. Intex didn't make one, and I couldn't find one online. But I guess with more people using staying at home and using their hot tubs right now, somebody decided to make one. So this is why you need these pliers, so you can reach in here and you can grab the broken pieces. Yeah, see, so you can see where this broke right here. It's supposed to stick out from both sides. and that's where it wore away, was at the ends. So that's garbage. So now we're also going to take out these rubber pieces right here. There we go. And here's the new impeller. So there is a link down below in the description so that you can buy one of these. I think the original one lasted me like a good 2 years, and then after that, every month or so after I fixed it, that shaft in the impeller kept breaking. So this one is ceramic like the original. Everything's brand new, it's perfectly balanced. Actually, you could probably see a little bit of a wobble in there, but it should last longer. Hopefully another year or so. I'm gonna take off one end. Now this is super important. It has to be exactly the right length, which is exactly 3 inches. So if you measure the new one, it's a little bit longer. And they do that so they don't get sued by Intex. So, see, the original one is exactly 3 inches. This one's about 1/8 of an inch longer. So what we're gonna do is mark it. Since this is ceramic and we can't really grind it down or cut it, we're just gonna break it right on that line. Try to get as close to where we want to break it as possible. Don't hold it too tight. Okay. So it broke just below the line. Let's see where we are. Just under 3 inches. I'm going to stick it down in there where the other rubber piece was. Now it does have a little bit of lubricant on there, so try not to. Oh man. And there goes a screw. Okay, what was I saying? Okay, yeah, so it has some lubricant on there, so try not to wipe that off. Let's slide this on carefully. Try not to break the shaft when you put this back in. It has to go all the way through. There we go. Do not lose any of these pieces, because you will be stuck. Alright. See, so here's something else. This one is missing the little plastic guard that this one has that helps it ride smooth. That's probably part of the reason why it was wobbling so much. I don't know if it broke over time or if it got lost on one of the repairs, but you want to make sure you have all those little pieces. Okay, so now we're gonna put this thing back together. Remember, the rubber has to fit in here. Check them one more time, make sure that none of these got loose while we tighten the other ones. Alright, now we just go backwards with everything that we did. So stick this in here. This will be a good time if you want to rub a little bit of Vaseline around the edge right here. You might want to clean it off with a paper towel because it does start to wear over time, and it might be a lot of black stuff here or inside this hose. So you might want to wipe it off with a paper towel and then just put some lubricant on there. So that way, if you have to do this again in the future, it's not going to be super hard like it was the first time. There we go. So now that's in. Now we're going to slide this back on. Get our flathead. Remember, this doesn't have to be super tight either because it is tightening onto plastic, so you don't want to break it. We're going to grab our cover. Make sure all the screws go down in the screw hole and that this plastic part right here goes all the way down also. Make sure everything lines up. Take my long screwdriver again. All right, let's try it again. All right, the moment of truth. So it's on. And it's flowing. There you go. If you follow the link in the description and you buy the replacement impeller, you have 3 options. One, you can use it just to replace the rod, because to find a ceramic rod in that size and that diameter, I have not been able to find one. So you can either use it for that, that's option 1. Option number 2 is that you can use it to replace everything. The only problem is that it's not original, so you might need to do some modifications, like you're gonna have to do for the rod anyways. And option number 3, you can do what I ended up doing on the 3rd try, was just take all the pieces that you needed. So what I needed was a plastic sleeve at the top of the impeller that was missing, causing my impeller to wobble, and that's why it was wearing so quick. So I used that plastic sleeve, or the bushing, at the top of the impeller, and also the rod. So those are your 3 options. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, but this was the only long-term solution for replacement parts that I found. Alright guys, so that's how you fix the E90 code on an Intex hot tub. If this video was helpful, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. I have everything that you're gonna need in the description down below. So don't forget, follow a real one. Let's go.